Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment or medications if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here. Visit bewelltexas.org.
Hello and welcome to another edition. There's music in the background, and it's not me. That is awesome.
That was me. I turned it off, though.
Wow. It wasn't the producer this time.
No
Yeah,
blame
we're
on the
presented
producer.
by Eternal Roofing. I didn't even get that part done. Wow, we are on track for the best show ever. About 2 seconds in. Great job. We're working it today.
Nowhere to go but up.
That's right. This is season 2, episode 31. We're giving out report cards, not for ourselves because those would be below failing, but for baseball and softball mid-season, and they could be below failing as well. I'm your host, producer, and formerly band member of catfans.com, Corey Hogue, the unlucky April Fool and non-FBS insider at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Find me on your favorite social media channel at Corey Hogue Sports. It's all one word, CORYHOGUE Sports. The knowledge of this show is provided by the creator and manager of Sports of SHSU on Twitter and Instagram, the chief operating officer of the Cat Fund, and proud Bearcat alum, Ben Sorrells. Ben, here we go. It's we're off the rails already, so we might as well just continue this. The hat, if you see today, is not really showing up well on the camera. This just is off to what a great start. But I'll show you which hat I'm wearing. It is the Richmond Flying Squirrels Marvel Edition hat. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or on YouTube, thank you for watching, number one, and sorry for the other video besides what you see on the screen from the hat. And number two, if you're listening, let's describe it for you. It's a squirrel throwing a punch as it's flying through the air. It's got some feet on it. It's a neat deal. It's really hard to describe.
Is that a new pickup also? I don't feel like I've seen that one before.
This is a new one. This is the one. This is my nephew's last season of Little League Baseball, and it's our last season to coach the Flying Squirrels. So this is what he chose. This is the hat he wanted for his final season, and I think he selected a good one.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
I love it. And your expensive house in the background is preventing us from seeing it very well.
I know, man.
First world problems.
I should make a lot less money.
Right.
Right, that's the problem. Hey, in case you didn't notice, something else happened this week, and Bearcats made an announcement. Hey, we finally got something through HR. Finally got something through human resources.
2.5 months later.
It took 2.5 months, and what do? We say welcome back, Coach Patterson, Zach Patterson back, offensive coordinator, but that is not what the original was.
No.
Not even close to what the original was. Let's see. Let me get the original one up here. Where did I go? Okay, well now let me see if I can get there it is. No, that's
No.
that's the one they did. Okay. Corey is the producer's really over it right now, isn't he?
They're trying to shadow ban or something that first post.
Is that what it is? Let's see. Is this one it? Hold on. There we
There
go.
we go.
Look at that. All right. So the first time they posted it, and this was taken down, it was "Welcome back, Coach Patterson," and they misspelled the man's name. Now, I get it. Mistakes happen, obviously. Couldn't find the darn photo right here. But it took you months, 2 months, to get this dude through HR. And he's a cat. Like, he's coming back. He's already been a Bearcat. And you still misspell his name.
Yeah, but both myself and Football Scoop put it out second week of January that he was the offensive coordinator, and it got announced last week of March, last few days of March, and then you spell his name wrong. He's also the running backs coach too. That's not even on the graphic, but we're here and
So
we made it.
I'm not the only one that doesn't have real positive vibes about where we're heading as the athletic department.
I don't think you're the only one.
Okay, well, I hope I'm not, and hopefully we can get this corrected. But we will definitely be here to talk about it. So, there's that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's get on to something a little more positive here, and that's not our midseason report cards for baseball by any means. But before we get into that, let's hear the positive of our friends over at Eternal Roofing. The job that Taylor Andrus and his crew do is second to none, and let's hear a little bit about them right here.
Turner Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Andrus and crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Once again, big thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing. We're going to start here today. We have midseason report cards for baseball and softball, and we are not starting with the better one of those two. We are starting with the 2025 baseball. Give an overview. Let's start there. 7-22, not ideal. 1-5 in conference. Also not ideal. It wasn't bad for a little, like the offense was scoring runs. They bring home the Don Sanders Cup.
Yeah, they had won 4 out of 5, I think, there at one point.
They were on a roll, and then they have scored 5 runs in their last 5 games, and 3 of those was against the University of Texas.
Yeah, it was 1 run last weekend against Western Kentucky, and then 1 run against Rice, and Rice was 6-21 coming into last night. I know they've maybe turned things around a little since David Pierce got there, but there's no reason you should be getting blown out by Rice at home. And it was a crawfish boil night, big crowd. So that last night was definitely frustrating.
Yeah. So here we go into what it looks like for the standings. And you know what? Let's grade them. Let's grade each of these departments here, each of these 3 sections independently, and then we'll give an overall grade, starting with the hitting. And you look up there when you've got at bats, the OPS and averages and everything else that goes into it. A couple things stick out to me. First, on the good side, let's say that probably, in my opinion, maybe the most valuable player right now on the team would be Brady Christensen, batting .296 with a .931 OPS.
Yeah, and he hasn't played in 2 weeks, so
that helps.
I was going to say, and it definitely has not helped the offensive production over these last 5 or 6 games.
No, it has not. Is he out with injury?
Yeah, he came into the year with a foot ankle kind of thing, and he's been in a boot for like 2 weeks now. So I think he was battling through it, and I think it's just caught up to him a little bit.
Hopefully he heals, because the offense needs him. After that, when you look at this, I look at OPS. That's the thing I look at, because batting average tells one story, on base percentage tells another story. You look at your slugging percentage, that tells a story. But when you look at the on base plus slugging, you kind of get a full range of how someone's performing. And in average OPS, I always give a range of 7 to 750, if that's your OPS. And there's about 4 guys that aren't even in that average, and that's average. 7 to 750 is average.
And
I'd say anything above 800 is probably above average.
Oh, I think in college 750 to 800 is probably average.
Yeah, you're probably right on that too.
Just the level of offensive production compared from the MLB to college is very different. I think it needs to be closer to 800, honestly.
So the team is not close to 800 as a team. They're 713. And individually, when you look at what that standard is from 750 to 800, Hunter Autry, Blake Brown, Jace Martinez, Brady Christensen are the only ones who are meeting that standard.
Yeah, and it's very apparent. I mean, the second game against Western Kentucky, Ryan Peterson goes out, throws 6 innings, 2 runs, pitching very well, and you leave the bases loaded 3 times and don't score at all in any of them, just because there's just not a lot of pop in this offense. It's a bunch of just trying to single and get guys over, bunt, get on, whatever it might be. And I mean, it tells here with the stats. If you go down to the bottom and look, 12 homers for the team this year, and you've given up 45.
And let's look at that slugging percentage. That's barely a good on base percentage.
Yeah, it's definitely gone down the last few weeks. It was okay there for a little bit. It probably wasn't even where it should have been, but yeah, it's definitely not in a good spot now.
It's 355. So to put that in perspective on the diamond, this means every time Sam Houston hits the ball, they get on base, they get halfway to second base.
Yeah.
That's what, well, the opposition, by the way, is getting beyond second base, closer to third base.
Yeah. Well, and part of that's our pitching too, but
we're getting there.
I know, and we'll get there, but one of the things with this team the last few years and why they were so successful is they had a lot of pop in there, and losing Walker Yannick from last year, 20 home run hitter, that is a huge blow to this team, because I mean, this team is on pace for 20 in the regular season, maybe just above it. So I think that's the biggest concern, is just the lack of power in the lineup.
I mean, and then you also look at the doubles and triples, right? Like there is some speed. There's
a lot of speed.
There's speed, but you need a diverse offense. You need guys who can drive them home. You can't be a one-trick pony in college baseball.
No, and not with the talent level we have. If you had 9 guys up and down the lineup that were getting on base at a 40% clip and stealing a lot of bases, it might work, but there's just too many holes in the lineup.
So what grade are you giving the hitting this year right now, the midseason?
I'd probably say like a C minus, because I think it kept this team in games and it won you those couple of games there in that 2-week stretch where you played well. But started the year bad, has been bad the last 2 weeks. Part of that has been because Brady Christensen has been out. But you just got to find more consistency, and until they can find some more pop in the lineup, it's going to be tough. And they flashed at moments, but it just hasn't been nearly consistent enough. So I'd probably say C minus, C, somewhere in there.
So you get them about average, maybe a bit below average.
Yeah, probably slightly below average.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go D minus on this one. I'm not going to go F. I thought about a solid D. D is possible. D plus seems a little high to me, just because 713 OPS, 251 average. You're getting on base at a 358 clip, and you're not scoring runs. You've only got 146 runs. you're barely stealing bases. You're not even stealing more bases than the opponents are. When you look at this, at the hitting overall, I'm going to go with a D- on this one for the hitting so far.
Yeah, I could see a D. We didn't hit on the walk numbers too. 145 walks is impressive. So they've
That
at
is
least
good.
So yeah, so they're out walking their opponents by 24, which is impressive. But
They've
walks,
got 294 strikeouts.
well, that too, and it's hard to drive guys in when all you're doing is hitting walks and singles. Because then you've got to hit multiple singles and have multiple walks in an inning, and it's just hard to do that.
This team walks, they hit singles, or they strike out. They have over 100 more strikeouts than the opponents.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's get on to the might be even worse side. The pitching here, and there's no need to look at individuals at this right now. Let's just go ahead and go down to the team. Total team ERA right now is 7.02. The whip is 1.77, and you know what? I'm going to say, I will say this. It's elevated, but I always say in college maybe a 1.5 is about where you should be on the whip. So the walks and hits per inning pitch, which is what whip is, it's a combination of those. 1.77 is actually not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the ERA, it definitely could be worse.
Oh, that ERA is bad, and I think we know why. Because they give up taters.
A lot of them.
Woo! They give up taters and doubles like it's candy. Man, it's Halloween out there.
And I mean, the starting pitching has just been so inconsistent too. It's been hard to find guys that can eat innings, and the couple of guys that you do feel good about, you constantly got to throw out there. I mean, Danny Valadez's ERA is a 7.4. But I think that's partially inflated because his last outing he gave up 3 or 4 because he had thrown 7 of the last 8 days or something like that. He was the only guy you could really feel comfortable with.
Yeah, well, they've used 10 different starters. That's a lot.
It's crazy for 29 games.
Yeah.
It's and the only arm I think you really feel comfortable about on a day in day out basis is Ryan Peterson. Noah Kendrick has started to come on a little bit, which has been good to see. He's had some really good outings his last 2 or 3 times out. We'll see if he can put it together consistently. But Ryan Peterson has gone 5 to 7 innings, all but one of his outings. I think 2 outings ago he went 7 innings, gave up 3 runs. Against Western Kentucky he gave up 6. He went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, and those were 2 different conference starts. So. I mean, he's doing what he can to keep you in games. Like I said, against WKU on Saturday, 6 innings, 2 runs, and then the bullpen gave up 7 runs in the final 3 innings.
Well, I mean, honestly, Peterson is probably the lone pitcher on this roster that I would say, maybe Noah Kendrick as well, that I would put in there saying are pitching above average. I mean, a 4.5 ERA, a 1.45 whip, it should not get you a 1-6 record. That should get you a 4-2, a 3-3 type of record. In
college, especially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're not talking Ellie De La Cruz up there hitting the ball.
Well, and I think he's got to go like farther in games than he probably should just to try to cover some more for the bullpen.
Yeah.
I think it happened to Noah Kendrick on, I think it was Friday this last week. He threw like 5 innings, a 1-run ball, and they threw him out there for the 6th, and you could just tell he was gassed. And I mean, that if we had a solid bullpen, you hand it over to the bullpen, but you just don't have that. So,
well, it shows when you have a batting average against of 311, and that I would love to see the batting average on balls and plays. That's got to be like way up there.
Yeah, I'm trying to see the total on base percentage. I don't know if that's on here, but it's
not on this one.
It's high.
It's on the other one. Let's go. Let's see. On base percentage for the opponents this year is 391. Almost 40% of the time they step up to the plate, they're getting onto base.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't win like that.
No, you
can't.
Cannot. All right. So pitching. What grade do you have for pitching?
I mean, it's tough to give more than an F. Honestly, I mean. I love Ryan Peterson. Maybe he can bring it up to a D- because he's been good. But, I mean, it's hard to say anything other than an F because it's just lost you so many games this year.
Without Ryan Peterson and Noah Kendrick, you're an F-, and I don't know that you could go lower than that.
Yeah.
With them, I will say I'll give you an F plus. I know some of this is on the hitting too, right? Because we are talking a team. So I will go F plus on the pitching. Boy, that's being generous in my opinion.
Yeah. And the lineup, I mean, not to go back to it too much, but the lineup next year, I can see why there's reason for optimism because you returned practically everybody but Autry and Christensen. And you get Caleb Cotton back, who was supposed to be a huge part of your lineup this year. So I can see them taking a step forward with the pitching, though. It's just outside of maybe 3 or 4 guys, it's hard to see how a lot of these guys can contribute next year. I just don't think they have the stuff. I think Kendrick will be fine. Peterson will be fine. Valadez has flashed. Bennett has flashed at times. Felix Schlett has had 1 or 2 good outings. But, I mean, besides that, it's tough to see how a lot of these guys can continue to play at this level going into next year.
Need to revamp the pitching staff. On the lineup side, I don't know if I can have a lot of optimism unless they find some people who can, hit more than singles.
Yeah, well, I think if you can find two guys in the middle of the lineup that have some pop, I think they'd actually be in a good spot because, I mean, a lot of that lineup is freshmen and sophomores. So if you can find 1 or 2 veteran guys with some pop and add Caleb Cotton back, I think they're going to be in a pretty good spot. I think there's some reason for optimism, but the pitching side, it's tough. You got to go 10 deep in college when it comes to pitching, and right now you're maybe 2 deep, maybe.
I would say 3. I mean, you got Devin Bennett, Ryan Peterson, Noah Kendrick, and after that, Felix Schlett, you said him, but
yeah.
I don't know that you have anyone else you really want to put in there.
Yeah, Schlett had a start 2 weeks ago where he went like 6 innings, 1 run, and then Danny Valadez had a streak there where I think he went 4 or 5 scoreless in a row, and like I said, that got very inflated the other day at Western Kentucky. But besides those guys, it's tough.
It is. Okay, moving on to the fielding. We go down here and see that they have 44. God dang it.
I know.
44 errors, a 958 fielding percentage. The opponent is at 26 errors and 975.
That's a big difference.
No, it's huge, man. This is the area that I cannot have leeway with college players a lot on, right? You have to put up a 970 fielding percentage in college baseball, at least.
That's what the opponent's doing.
Yes. And I mean, I think Augie Garrido, one time I heard him say that to his team as well. Guys, if we're not at least starting at a baseline of 970, we're not going to be good.
Yeah, and I think, overall it hasn't been great. 2 big factors to that was Addison Smith really struggled at short before he moved to second. I've never seen a player look so bad at short and so good at second. It makes no sense.
Now, as a baseball player who played second base and was no good at short, it is different. It's how you read the ball coming off the bat a lot of times. There are big differences between the 2 positions.
He came in as a shortstop though, so it's weird.
Now that's weird.
So
I was trying to help the kid.
The Western Kentucky broadcast, there was a ball that was hit up the middle, and I didn't think he had a shot at it. They're like, oh, he's going to make that play. He made it, and they're like, this Smith kid is incredible at second base. So that hurt them the first probably 2 weeks of the season without Martinez, and then I know Sam Lee, I think he's a natural center fielder. He was over in left. He struggled with a couple reads, had a couple drops early in the year. So I think it's gotten a little better since you kind of figured out some positional stuff, but it's nowhere near where it should be.
All right. So what grade do you give fielding?
A D or D minus probably. Just because I think it has gotten a little better the last month.
I was thinking a D minus myself, F plus D minus. I'll go a little higher with that, with the D minus one there. Okay. Well, Ben, it's not good when you look at it.
Well, I was gonna say too. I don't know if you can pull it up on there if you open the screen back up, but
yeah.
If you go to that More tab and go to it's like year by year record or history, something like that.
Yes.
Let's see.
Go up to the top. Story
No.
archives, camps,
No.
history up there.
There we go. History and then year by year result. So they're at 7 wins right now, probably 60% of the way through the season. 1986 was the first Division I season for Sam Houston, and as far as I can see, the least amount of wins they've had in a year was 19. I don't know if there's a path to 19 wins. 19 was in 2010, I think it was.
Yeah, 19 and 36, 11 and 22 in conference back then.
Yeah. So that's, I don't know. It is very concerning that you might not even get to that number.
Yeah, it is very concerning. So midseason grade overall, what are you going to give the team at this point?
I mean, it's tough to say anything other than an F. Because, I mean, this is on track for the worst team in Division I history for the program. And I think, I don't think there's any way you can give them more than an F. And I know I said before this season, you got to be able to at least find ways to win against programs that traditionally aren't very good in this conference. New Mexico State is one of those programs. And so it's going to be a big tell how they play this weekend, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about what you said about don't see how anyone can go above an F, in your opinion. I mean, I was going to put my grades together, and I was going to come up with a D-. It's not good. Look, D- gets you fired. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it does. Jason Plotkin said, ready to talk about the bowling team when you are, Mr. Producer. Yeah, I know. I wish it was. I wish we had better things to talk about right now than this. But hey, we will. Softball is a little bit better. We will get into that right after we hear another word from our friends over at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use CertainTeed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com.
I just want to point out that I gave a better grade than Ben there, and I'm wondering why I am now the optimist of the group. And I also want to let you know real quick, we are a podcast on the Republic of Football Network and an extension of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Also a member of the CUSA Podcast Roundtable. It features podcasts from all 12 Conference USA schools. Please like and subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on the various social media threads at March 2 the Pod. It's March the number 2 the Pod, all one word. And if you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, you see that we have the softball pulled up here. And when you look, let's start with the overall view of it. 17 and 19, 6 and 6 in conference, 9 and 5 at home, 6 and 7 on the road, 2 and 7 neutral. Like that's the one area that's been a bit of a problem for them this year.
They played in some tough
they have.
tournaments.
They have. They've had a tough schedule for the most part. Things were going well. 2 of 3 against Western Kentucky. Beat HCU. Lost 2 of 3 to Middle Tennessee on the road. Blew out the Lady Jacks, whatever they call themselves. Swept Kennesaw at home. Yeah, you lost to A&M, but this last weekend, what the world, man? They lost 8-4 in the first game, and they don't score another run.
Yeah. It was a big test coming into this weekend because 2 of your first 3 series were at home. They were against teams that were 3 of the bottom 4 teams in the standings, and you performed really well. You were 6 and 3 after those 3 series. But New Mexico State, you came in, I think it was third, and New Mexico State was fourth, or we were fourth, and New Mexico State was fifth. Both teams had winning records. You had to go on the road, and things just kind of collapsed for you. And the pitching, which has been the strong part of this team, giving up 8 runs in back-to-back games, it's hard for this kind of lineup to claw back from that. So it was a little disappointing. They got 2 tonight. They got the game against Texas State that's going to pick back up halfway through, and then they'll start a new game after that. And then you got FIU coming into town. So hopefully they can turn things around. It's been an up and down season, really all year. But yeah, I think they're in a decent spot right now. From what it looks like, I think they'll end up probably somewhere in the middle of the pack in the conference, but we'll see.
Tonight is Cats with a K night, and I want to know when they're having Cats with a C night.
Probably not
yeah.
anytime soon.
Hopefully not. So this Texas State game tonight, I know Texas State is a better softball program overall, but and I don't know that you can say anything about the first game, right? Like, I mean, the halted game. But in the game that is completely played, I'd like to see at least some offensive output.
Yeah, that's been the biggest question with this team is the offensive production. It's been very up and down. It hasn't been consistent. It's been better in recent weeks, but yeah, it's just got to be a little more consistent. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, you had to have a couple more people step up. You're starting to see that with Jenny Robinson, and I mentioned Quinlan and Perez were hitting, and Aaliyah Hebel is starting to come around, which is good. We made a big point of that. So yeah, they're getting there. It's just got to be more consistent.
It does. So we're going to look at the batting. The batting, you've got Jenny Robinson. You mentioned it. 390, a 1.101 OPS. That's impressive. A 623 slugging percentage.
Yeah.
Right.
4 homers.
That's incredible. Good walk numbers. She has walked 12 times, only struck out 7. That's incredible to me.
Yeah. And you needed someone to really step up outside of Quinlan and Perez, and she had that 2-homer night a couple weeks ago also, which was really big. So it's good to see her stepping up.
Also leading with a 478 on base percentage. Brody Quinlan has been outstanding. 319, a 1.005 OPS on base of 409. Slugging percentage is really good. And honestly, when I look at this holistically, Robinson, Quinlan, Perez, Hebel, Kyla Haney, is it?
I think it's Hine.
Kyla Hine. That's serviceable, right? I can, those 5 players are okay. The problem is behind those 5, you don't have a lot.
Right. It's just not a deep lineup.
It's not deep at all, and it's kind of, I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of feel with the coach right now because I'm trying to do the same thing with the Space Cowboys. I only have about 3 or 4 people right now who are hitting the ball consistently off the machine, and so how do I make a lineup with that? Do I put all my good ones up at the top, right? Like
space them out.
Yeah, I mean, so what do you do? That is something that I have been going through as well. So I do understand the challenge you face here. Overall, Ben, what are you going to give a grade for their bat?
I'd probably give it a C. Just because it definitely has improved in the last couple of weeks. I know a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Aaliyah Hebel, she was hitting 160. Now she's hitting 264. So definitely bringing it up, which is good to see. It's gotten a little deeper because a couple of people have stepped up, but just too inconsistent, and it was just very bad there for a stretch at the start of the year. So I would probably say a C.
You know, you look overall OPS, they're at 743. That is better than the opponents. They slugging percentage is close to 400. On base percentage is above 340. They've stolen 38 out of 44 bases. That is remarkably consistent.
Yeah,
out there. I will give the offense a C+.
Okay.
Strictly because I know the average overall does not look good. The OPS for a team at 743, that's not horrible in softball.
No, it's not. And I think I'm looking at it here. I think it's slightly above the opponent Yeah, slightly above. Part of that's due to the pitching that we've
Yes.
had, you're still outperforming your opponent. So
You are, and you've had more walks. They have done. They're close there. They've hit the ball well. Home runs. Those top four players, Robeson, Quinlan, Perez, and Ebel, they have combined for 21 home runs. I just did quick math right there. That's impressive. That's really good right there. So the batting has been a bit above average, I would say.
yeah, I think if you just looked at the past month of the season, I could give it a B. When you're looking at the season as a whole, I think I'd give it a C.
All right. Well, I go C plus. I am the positive guy here.
I got high standards.
You do have high standards. I don't. That's why I'm on my second marriage. Let's go to the pitching here. We have Abigail Young. The record of 2-4 does not indicate how well, in my opinion, she has pitched. 49 and 2/3 innings, a 1.83 ERA, a 1.15 WHIP, which is just remarkably incredible. 13 earned runs, 11 walks, 30 strikeouts. Has given up a few doubles. But man, I think Abigail Young has been really good. Amy Abke, you got a 3 ERA, a 6-7 record. The records aren't matching, right? The offense hasn't been horrible. The pitching hasn't been horrible. It's been pretty much where opponents are. 3.43 ERA compared to 3.35.
Yeah.
The WHIP is better. I'm not seeing why this team, like you said, it's been inconsistent. I think the stats show that.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I see no reason why they shouldn't have a better record than they do right now.
Yeah. And some of that's been the opponents they played, especially in the non-conference. They've definitely the good thing about, and the thing I've liked about this season is this team has beaten pretty much everybody they're supposed to beat, which is a good sign because the softball program hasn't done that the last few years and really since 2019. So I've seen that step forward. But yeah, some of these statistics, they're impressive. And one thing I do notice too about this is people are getting a lot of innings, all 5 of the pitchers on this list. At some point, do you start to narrow it down? Kendall Daniels been incredible the last few weeks. She was Conference USA Pitcher of the Week a few weeks ago. Tiffany Sanchez has had some good moments as a freshman, but she struggled at times too, which is fine. But at what point do you just lean on your top 3?
Now.
I think so too, yeah.
Look, here's the way I look at it. I will tell you, as someone who does not have anything to do with college softball as far as coaching, if I was coach, and I would use, it's the same way I look at like college baseball. Early in the season, I'm trying to figure out what I have. I'm using all 5 of my pitchers pretty regularly. Once I get to conference play matters.
Right.
And so when it gets to conference play, I'm narrowing down to 2, maybe throw a third. With this staff, I would throw a third in there.
Right.
A lot of staffs, I'm not going above 2 once I get to conference play.
Yeah. And we're still starting. Everybody's getting starts at times, pretty much still. Tiffany Sanchez got the start on the Friday night against New Mexico State, and the first person out of the pen was Mackenzie Jenkins. So,
good God, that makes my brain hurt, Ben. Okay, so what are we going to give the pitching overall here?
Gosh, I think you got to factor everybody in. I would probably give it a B plus. If we're just looking at our top 3, it would be an A. But I'd probably say a B plus.
I'm with you. I was thinking B plus as well. And yeah, if you utilize your staff a little better, you could get an A right there.
Yeah, because that's 60 plus innings between your bottom 2 pitchers.
That's horrible. Moving on to the fielding, 23 errors, a 976 fielding percentage. The opponents have had 37 errors, 964. Some of that's the speed that they have as well, causing some of those errors. But hey, fielding wise, 976, 23 errors, that's not bad.
No, it's in that 970s range. It's better than the opponents. Got a lot of thousands up there too, which is nice.
Yeah, this is one I want to look at. Infielder from Grandview, Morgan Holiday, 8 errors. That's been a lot, but she's also young too. That's
Yeah.
another sign you can look at as well sometimes. But there are a lot of people. Listen, Kinsey Hobbs has had 86 chances and 1,000 fielding percentage. That's incredible.
It's impressive.
It is. Brody Quinlan has been good. Samantha Grader has been good out there. Jenny Robinson on the field and at the plate has been really good. So, she's in the outfield.
I was going to say Bella Perez, 167 chances, 994 at catcher, and she has like almost 1,000 OPS. I mean, she is a heck of a player, and she's only a sophomore.
Yeah. No, the fielding wise, I mean, what grade are you going to give the fielding here?
Probably a B plus again. I think that probably fits.
I don't think you can give an A till they get above 980.
Yeah. There's definitely room for improvement.
I will go B plus. Okay. Hey, my goodness, this is a whole lot better than it was a minute ago. So overall grade, what do you give softball midseason overall report card grade?
I'm going to give it a B minus, just because you can see the potential of the team and sometimes they don't show it. And I think their performance could be a little bit better record-wise. But for a program that traditionally has struggled a lot, to see us beat the teams that we should, look like a middle-of-the-pack, maybe slightly above middle-of-the-pack team in Conference USA is very encouraging. So I'd probably give it a B minus. I just wish we could have a little more consistency.
Why do you hate the Bearcats?
Sorry, I got to do it to take it away from you a little bit.
I'm going with a B. This is a pretty average season. To me, B's a little bit maybe above average. But I think when you look at the hitting is what's holding them back. The pitching has been good. The fielding is good. I do not understand how the record is what it is. But I'm far less concerned about softball right now than I am about baseball.
Yeah, well, like baseball's very young. I talked about that, but you don't really know how they're going to pan out. Softball's still pretty young too, especially on the pitching side. Abke and Young are both sophomores, and Kendall Daniel also has eligibility remaining. And the thing with Daniel too is she started to get back in the lineup a couple weeks ago, and it's been really good. So she could play both ways. She's a sophomore also, redshirt sophomore. I couldn't remember if she was a redshirt sophomore or junior. So your top three pitchers have 2 years of eligibility remaining, which, I mean, there's a lot of reason for optimism with that, especially with Bella Perez, your best overall player, probably being a sophomore also.
Yes, and we did not. We just gave grades. It's at the end of season. We will talk about, contract stuff. All right, before we come back and hear Ben tell us about how you can help Bearcats get better with the Cat Fund, let's get a message in from our friends over at Eternal Roofing one more time.
Eternal Roofing is locally owned and dedicated to giving back to the community by supporting local organizations and charities. They are also the winner of Next Door's Neighborhood Faves for 2 consecutive years. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Eternal Roofing is your choice for Christmas lights. They provide premium lights tailored to fit your home, season-long maintenance, and hassle-free removal. Kyle Tatum said, "They're very professional and great quality, on time and clean, and really made me feel like they cared for me and my home." Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com.
Big thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing and Taylor Anderson. Before we get into hearing from Ben about the Cat Fund and the exclusive Cat Fund section at catfans.com that I am banned from for life, General Sam wants to know, how's the write-up on the spring camp defense preview coming?
Yeah, it's almost there. It's tough to figure out a lot about the defense just because there's so many new guys. There's a lot of research to it, and been very, very, very busy on different Cat Fund things the past week or two. We're getting some stuff rolling. But yeah, it should be up in the next few days. It's tough to know a lot because there's still a lot of scholarships to be added in there. There's also so many new faces, new coaches, There's also the defensive tackle position, which you only have 2 healthy scholarshiped defensive tackles right now. So it's an interesting situation there, but yeah, it's almost there. Speaking of Cat Fund, we did have intel on 8 visits that happened last week on campus. Had the offensive preview a couple weeks ago. Had a basketball roster update a week or 2 ago, where some of that has played out over this past week or so. So there's been a lot of good info there, and definitely want to sign up and support at cat-fund.com to support these athletes and do everything we can to help retain and win.
For as low as $10 a month. And you, as long
correct.
as your name is not Corey Hogue, could get exclusive access to the
That's
Cat Fund
correct.
section.
Correct.
Do not put your name as Corey Hogue. They will not let you in. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, can't stand that guy.
That dude, man, he's nothing but a problem. You know, we had another problem that came up right after we finished recording last week, Ben.
Literally right after.
Literally right after the head coach, Sonia Curvelo of the women's soccer program, has departed. She took it from, I don't even remember where she went.
San Jose State.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, look, I'd go to San Jose.
I would too.
I ain't gonna lie. Here's a look at what Sonia Curvelo did with the program. 3-11 into her first year, improved to 6-7-4. Was 8-7-3 this last year. 5-4 in conference. Considering that she kind of led this program through that transition of Conference USA from Southland, I think you got to say Sonia Curvelo left this program in a lot better shape than she found.
She did, and she got to campus 2 months before the season started her first year, so that first year record is not an indication of what she did. Second year, 3-3-2 in Conference USA play, and you made it to the Conference USA semifinals, almost made it to the title game, and then this year you had a winning record in Conference USA play and a winning record overall. First winning record overall since 2015. So each year the team got better, and I really liked the roster they have coming back this year. Obviously, we'll see if everybody stays with the move, but yeah, I think it's a really big loss. The record overall doesn't show the impact that she had on this program.
Okay, someone else's loss can be our gain. We lost. Now it's time to go take somebody else. Ben, who are you looking for to be the next head coach of the women's soccer program? Where are you going to find it?
Yeah, there's 3 names that come to mind. The first one is if you're going to stay in-house, and I don't know if he's going with Sonia Curvelo because he was at Prairie View with her also, but Oscar Mendoza was the head assistant. He was also the head assistant at Prairie View A&M. So do you just stay in-house and try to keep things intact? Because, like I said, you were moving in a really good direction, so that's a possibility. The second one, we had this name shared with us shortly after, and not that she's in the mix, but just kind of fits the mold, is Kendall Ayers at Texas Southern. Played at Louisiana Tech, has had success at Texas Southern, won the SWAC there, has had success at the D2 level. So she knows what it takes to win at this kind of level, maybe winning with less. And then the other name I would look at too is Nathan Kogut. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last name right, but he was an assistant at A&M for a while. Last year was his first year at Lamar. They went 15-13-3. And this last year they were a 500 team after traditionally not being very good. So he knows what it takes to win at the highest level, like at A&M. Had an incredible year last year at Lamar, another decent year in his second year. But that's the kind of name you might be able to poach from a school that's kind of a step below you. So those are 3 names that I would look at.
Yeah, Benjamin. When are you going to learn? Got to find someone who knows how to win. I am big on finding someone who knows how to win. I'm not even worried about the level, right? But if I'm Sam Houston, this women's soccer program, and I really do want this program to take off, I'm going in a direction and finding the one coach in the state of Texas who does nothing but win at Division III and Division II. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't, but you do. So
I
enlighten
sure
us.
do. And here you go. His name is Marcus Wood at Dallas Baptist. Now let's just go through the Marcus Wood profile here. We'll start with a career record of 418, 47, and 37
Whew.
in 24 seasons. He is one of only 31 coaches to reach 400 wins in women's collegiate soccer. His first 2 seasons at DBU, he took them to back-to-back trips to the D2 tournament.
Yeah.
And listen, I get it. You can do all that's all sounds great. But what else has he done? Oh, he came from Hardin Simmons, where he coached for 22 seasons, won 19 conference titles and a national title in 2010. I mean, this guy, I know he's been D3. I know he's been D2. He's a native of Bettendorf, Iowa, so maybe Huntsville, Texas will sound good to him or something. But if you don't at least go try to get this guy for your program, I don't really know what you're doing.
I agree. I didn't know the name either. The other thing to consider, too, with this search is, do you know how much Sonia Curvelo was making the last 2 seasons?
No.
How much do you think she was making?
Oh, I mean, it's below 6 figures.
Yeah.
I mean,
She was making $75,000 the last 2 years. And so I just don't know if you have the budget to be able to poach, because I know DBU's got money.
for women's soccer, though?
I mean, that's why I feel like you could poach a coach from Texas Southern, maybe Lamar, because maybe they're paying a step below that. Maybe they're resourced a little better if they come to Sam Houston, maybe. I know you might not be able to find the data or the salary.
No, I
info.
can't find out what he makes right now, but let's do this. Let's go with, let me find out what an average D2 women's soccer coach makes.
Yeah, so I just have some worries that we might not be able to poach a very big name with that salary, but you were able to get Sonia Curvelo for Prairie View with that salary, and she had incredible success there. So that's kind of where I feel like you might be able to have some success.
Okay, let's see. That is not women's.
Yeah, and while you're searching too, it's something that hopefully we can move quickly on, and the job did get posted quickly because not spring training, but training camp for soccer is going to start late July, very early in August, and we are not that far away from that.
That is true, and so you're going to need somebody here. Let me see. I'm trying to get one that might be comparable somewhere around. If I can find this stuff. It's not always easy to find information on coach
Division.
salaries, especially you don't find anything for private schools.
Yeah, well, that's why I knew you weren't going to find DBU, but
Yeah.
D2 women's soccer coaches' salaries aren't readily available typically.
The average, it says, according to what it was, around 50,000. That makes sense to me.
Yeah,
I would say, I don't think Marcus Wood would be making much more than 75,000.
yeah.
I mean, maybe if you added a little to the pot, you could get a coach that all he does is win.
I like it. Well, I really like all. I mean, I would rather probably not go internal just because I don't think Oscar Mendoza has been a head coach before, just based on his bio.
Yeah.
But between Ayers at Texas Southern, Kogut at Lamar, and Wood at DBU, I think all 3 of those could be viable options.
Yeah, I think so too. And, I mean, look, nobody took my pick for football, and he ended up where? New Mexico, right?
New Mexico, yep.
I don't know. I just want somebody who what they do when they're somewhere is know how to win.
Well, and Wood has obviously done that. Ayers in her first year won the SWAC, and Kogut in his first year went 15-13-3 and went undefeated in conference play. So all three of them can win.
You got to know how to win. That's the key, right?
Yeah. Well, Wood has the most sustained success, obviously.
Yes. Also, I will say it's going to be hard to get Wood because I believe the Christian religious ties are a big part of it as well for him.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, it was a shock when he left Hardin Simmons for DBU because he had been there for so long.
Yeah.
But instant success at Dallas Baptist. Hey, it was a good show. We got it done in under an hour here. That's not bad.
It's a miracle.
Well, now it's not a miracle. We got it under an hour last week.
We did. We're
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you to anyone who was watching on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Ben Sorrells. Without you, man, I know nothing about Sam Houston. And it's time, man. We got to go find a soccer coach. We need to go find a good one. Take us out with something that's going to get us a good soccer coach here.
Yeah, eat 'em up, Cats. Let's find a coach quickly and find some wins quickly on the diamond as well.
Oof, we need some Cats bats.